This man woke up to an unexpected surprise after he discovers the origin of the sound that took away his sleep. Alone in the house, he was enjoying his day. Snow has already covered the house and going out wasn't something he wanted to do. He lit up the fireplace to make the room warm. Covered in his favorite blanket, he lay down on the sofa that was some feet away from the fireplace. He could see the snow from the window of his house that made the outer environment beautiful. As they say, God is the most beautiful artist. The outside of his house was looking extremely beautiful. His coffee mug was almost finished and he wanted more, but the warmth inside the blanket didn't allow him to move out. Both the sofa and him were now comfortable with each other. He kept staring outside until his eyes were tired enough to make him sleep. He was almost in the first phase of sleep taking over him when his ears alarmed him to something. Ignoring the sound, he didn't open his eyes because that would break the sleep. But then after a few minutes, he heard the same noise and this time it was much louder. Alarmed, he sat on his sofa. Looking around the house, he saw nothing, but the sound struck his ears again and even much louder this time. The moment he found the origin of the sound, he was taken aback and no words came out of his mouth. What happened? You'll find out soon. It took over 200,000 years for us human to reach a population of 1 billion and some 200 years to reach 7.7 billion. You can imagine the pace at which the human population has grown. Today, human civilization could be found in every corner of this world. We have touched those grounds where the animal has control. These untamed lands filled with diverse wildlife are now being controlled by humans. But when a wild animal decides to cross that border between a human and the wild, things become pretty interesting and terrifying at the same point. The same happened with this man whose door was knocked by a wild animal which shocked him to the core. The term wilderness is normally described as an uninhabited and an inhospitable land area filled with all kind of animal species. This term is derived from Old English meaning land inhabited by wild animals. Only a few decades ago, almost 50% of the Earth's land was recognized wilderness, and today it is just 23%. So, when a wild animal knocks at our door, we shouldn't be surprised, as it was us who knocked it there first. But this story was amazing because what happened when he saw who this wild animal was and what came next stunned him and everybody. He was enjoying his afternoon nap when he heard some noises outside his house. Alarmed, he wore his slippers to see who this stranger was. When you are alone in the house and something like this happens, we become extra cautious because we aren't aware of the situation. Even this guy was terrified when these noises started to become louder. What happened next would shock the hell out of you, as it did for him. The taiga is the superabundant forest that covers exactly all the northern hemisphere. This is so huge that it covers Russia, Scandinavia, northern Japan, and the Arctic Circle. The forest also several parts of Canada and the northern United States. In fact, the largest state is almost grasped by the taiga. Alaska is entirely covered by the taiga, filled with spruces, pine trees, cedars, and hemlocks that cover 10.9 million acres of land. For most of the flora, it becomes very difficult to survive the harsh climate of the taiga, but because the surroundings are filled with lichens and moss, the needle leaf trees rule the area. Even in summer, temperatures could fall to 20 degrees, but nothing can beat -65 in winters. Regardless of these extreme conditions, the wildlife in the taiga is still thriving. Many of us think that Alaska is covered with snow for the whole year. But that's not true. Snow could be found in winter season, but when winters come to end, this place can experience pretty mild temperatures. This is the time you can see 32 different carnivore species in play. Alaska is the only state that has this huge number of species found in one place, other than wolves, brown bears, coyotes, and wolverines. But there is one particular creature that is only found in this area. He was enjoying his stay in the house because he didn't feel like going out and decided to take off from work. But little did he knew, his staying home alone would change his life forever. He could hear noises that were coming from the outside of his house. He knew the area and these noises seemed familiar to him. Still, he didn't want to take any chances. But he had to see what it was, and when he did, things changed for him. On March 30th, 1867, the United States agreed to sell Alaska to Russia in $7.2 million. Not only that, it was a 13-year-old boy who designed the flag of this state. Alaska is one place where things are literally different from other parts of the world. Like, it is legal to hunt a bear, but it's illegal to wake up a sleeping bear. There are other interesting facts about Alaska that makes it different from other. There are some laws that prohibit a person to push a moose from a plane, viewing a moose from a plane, and giving a moose beer. There is a place in Alaska named Barrow. The longest night span is of 67 days, and in summer there is sunlight for continuous 82 days. Because of its long summers, Alaska has been able to generate several oversized produce, including 35-pound broccoli, a 65-pound cantaloupe, and a 138-pound cabbage. All we know is that Alaska is the most beautiful and interesting place that could be found on this planet. This place has everything. And if you think that human cannot survive this place extreme condition, then one thing we should learn from human history is that we are the most talented species that can survive anywhere. There are 20 highest mountains in the United States and 17 of them are found in Alaska. Denali the Great One is 320 feet above sea level. Alaska is the largest known state of the Union. Like it's very big, or you could say that a fifth of the entire USA and add to Texas. There are about 100,000 glaciers that cover 5% of the state. The most amazing thing that happens here for continuous 243 days a year is the Northern Lights. That's not all. Alaska has a few other amazing things that one should know. In 1971, the place called Prospect Creek Camp experienced the lowest temperature recorded, which was -80 degrees Fahrenheit. There is one other bizarre law that goes around in the Alaska state that states you aren't allowed to whisper in someone's ear while they are on moose hunting. And they say that there is one bear to every 21 people. As we already told you that Alaska has some 32 different species living in one big space. The Canadian lynx, which is found in Alaska, comes from the same family tree of cats but are actually bigger than domesticated cats. They have amazing eyesight that can locate a mouse from over 250 feet away. In size, they can be compared to a bobcat. They like to live alone but stay with young cubs until they are old enough to take care of themselves. That's not it. The family bond can be seen between a mother and her offspring, but when her young ones reach a certain age, they are bound live on their own. They are left alone in the area where they hunt alone and mark their own territory. During mating season, male become more social to attract the females. The females are the hunter that hunt their prey in packs that includes their children too. The Canadian lynx hunts their favorite prey, the snowshoe hare, in packs. They will do just anything to hunt some hare in the area. Just to hunt it down, they can cover a huge distance. There are times when human and Canadian lynx come face to face. Their cuteness can melt anybody's heart, and people even take them into their house as a pet. Taiga is the world's second largest land biome that covers North America and most inland parts of Canada, Alaska, and parts of northern United States. Taiga also covers most of Sweden, Finland, Norway, Iceland, and Russia. In the west, it covers the Pacific Ocean, northern Kazakhstan, northern Mongolia, and northern Japan. The Canadian lynx wouldn't think twice if it sees a rabbit. This cat will find it and hunt it down. The Taiga is the most populated place in Alaska, which comprises over 300,000 residents. The Taiga area has two sides to it. Living in the city is hectic, but if you want to change the scenery or want to take a break from everything, then this place can provide you with it. Even this guy was here to leave his city behind for some days to enjoy his life away from everything. Then something strange happened to him. If you wish to live in Alaska, then you should be ready to see some wildlife around you. Moose that are likely to be seen strolling down Main Street, bald eagles swimming in the harbors, and the wolves making sure that human knows their presence when their howling songs play in the night. Tim Newton thought how hard it could be, but that day his heart skipped a beat when he was surrounded by something unknown. When he looked out from the window, he was stunned to see a baby lynx kitten sitting outside of his house, and there was more. Leaving the city behind, Tim was looking forward to spending his days in solitary, but being a natural photographer, he was excited to capture everything that was happening in his front porch. He is a professional nature photographer and has captured several beautiful photographs of bears, striking Alaskan landscapes, eagles, and moose, which he makes sure to upload on Facebook and his website, ruggedalaska.com. Tim, a nature photographer, knows what a golden opportunity it was when he saw a lynx kitten sitting just outside of his house porch. This kitten was looking damn cute, and Tim knew he had to capture it before this kitten was nowhere to be seen. But that wasn't all. There was something else that was waiting for him. His day was about to get better. Tim knew about the Alaska surrounding and the animals who roam the area. He knew that Canadian lynx cat likes to hunt snowshoe hare, and they do that on a loop before they migrate. He wanted that shot of lynx cat targeting the snowshoe hare, which could have been a great collection for him and his viewers. He was waiting for that perfect moment when something else happened. This one small kitten was sitting on the porch of his house. It was this cat's noise that alarmed Tim when he was alone on the house. But something started to bother him because he knew a baby lynx kitten don't stay away from the mother. In this case, this kitten was alone and was roaming around the front porch as if she was looking for the mother. Tim was right. Tim knew that a baby kitten won't stay away from the mother, and he was right. After a while, 6 other small kittens joined the first, and now they were 7 in number. Tim was excited to see so many kittens in one place, as it would be just perfect for him to shoot 7 of them. The day just couldn't be better for a nature photographer. 7 lynx kitten was playing around his house. That moment was the happiest moment of his life that made it even more beautiful. One lynx got really excited when she started inspecting around. She seemed more interested in finding out what was inside the house. Then other kittens joined this one who all wanted to explore the house. These 7 kittens were playing their hearts out. Tim, who was standing at a distance and was filming everything. They were wrestling, chasing each other, and kept rolling on the snow. Everything was happy at that moment. Thankfully, Tim was able to capture it all and shared everything with others. Their cuteness can melt anybody's heart in second. In one of the pictures that Tim uploaded on his website ruggedalaska.com, you can see a kitten jumping from a piece of furniture on one of the siblings. Tim even captioned that picture saying the Battle of Snowshoe. Tim was enjoying the scene and he was happily capturing it all. Even the cats seemed to be enjoying their moment when something stopped the play completely. One moment they all were playing and the other moment the cat started running away from the scene. That's when Tim noticed it was because of the mother who entered in the scene. The mother was making the sound that made these kittens line up in attendance, and they stood there with the mother patiently. The mother wasn't strict, as when she realized that all of her children are there in the scene, she started playing with herself. The mama lynx was playing with her 7 little kittens. That very moment Tim was able to realize the love these animals have for each other. Though animals follow different rules entirely, still there are certain things that match with us humans, like mother and her children bind, and love is universal everywhere. This family of 8 kept playing for over an hour, and the mama cat made sure there is no harm to her children as she kept checking the area around the house. This was the first time when these cute lynxes have come up to his deck for playing, as he has always captured them in photographs from the distance. Tim's technique of using still photography captures some amazing moments that made the day really special for him. Tim isn't sure if this lynx's family going to visit him again, but he looking forward that it happens again, then he would invite them for breakfast. After reading this story, there is no doubt that the Canadian lynx is an amazing creature. They are found in very few places, and that too in Alaska. Tim was lucky that he was able to see this beautiful creature alive and captured everything. Here we have some amazing facts about this species that makes them even more beautiful and cute. The Canadian lynx are born carnivores and prey on mice, birds, red squirrels, voles, ptarmigan, and grouse, but their favorite is the snowshoe hare that fulfills their food need most of the time. Lynx is really smart, as they cover their prey with a layer of snow so that other animals don't find and they could eat it later. The mother is the main hunter in the pack that makes sure her children are well fed until they reach a certain age, after which they are left alone to survive on their own. The female lynx gives birth to between 1 and 6 kittens. In the 1,900 seconds, their population saw a massive decline because of their fur, which was traded to other countries. Because of the cruelty, this species has been put on the list of threatened animals in the United States. The fur trade in the past and the urbanization are the 2 human factor that has led them to such condition. The mating season for lynx lasts only for a month period that occurs in the spring between March and May, and that also depends on the climate. As their population has decreased drastically, it's very rare if you could spot one roaming in the R. Tim was lucky, but because they are not that easily spotted, they have earned the name Shadow of the Forest. Seriously, Canadian lynx is an amazing creature, and we should try to save this creature.